The mother-in-law sold the apartment and was going to get married, and then it turned out that she had nowhere to live. Matt told me to sell everything here. We will buy new housing there, the mother-in-law chirped cheerfully while packing her suitcases. So you better hurry up. We should have moved out of the apartment in which we lived in a hurry. My mother-in-law was then 47 years old, my husband was 27. 3 years ago we got married and went to live in an apartment that my mother-in-law got from her mother. Live and then I'll make a donation for my son, my mother-in-law said after the wedding, but the circumstances have changed slightly. A year later we had a child, but then my mother-in-law's husband, who is also my husband's stepfather, kicked his wife out of the house. For what reason we can guess. They lived together for 20 years. The stepfather married a young widow with a child at that time. They began to live in his apartment, and he kicked his wife out of this apartment. Mom, he's 27 years old. Think about it. The husband tried to reason with his mother. You will sell the apartment now and it is unknown whether you will buy it or not. He will take the money and leave you with a bare ass. Where are you going back to? I knew that you would put sticks in my wheels and say nasty things. The mother-in-law was seething with righteous anger. My apartment is legally mine, so wherever you want and as soon as possible. I have already agreed with the buyers and they are used to it. Of course it is convenient for you to live here, but I don't care. I have one life and I don't intend to exchange it for your diapers. Yes, everything was according to the law. The mother-in-law was the owner of the property, but it was not even about where we would go with the child, but about where the husband's mother would return if the young husband left her. But it did not reach the mother-in-law, who had grown tired of her late feelings. Son and daughter-in-law are enemies who are against her happiness. We packed our bags. The husband frantically called on the ads for the delivery of apartments. For about a year we lived on a rental, and I was on maternity leave, and I spent every free minute trying to earn money on the internet. I sat at night, ran with the child to customers. I've been saving this money. Yes, my husband told me, it's hard for us. Well, it's okay, you've already postponed it normally. We will soon be able to take an apartment on a mortgage. But I didn't have to take out a mortgage. As soon as I got my son into kindergarten, the news came that my aunt had died in the neighboring region. A childless woman left her property to me. I loved my aunt very much, and she loved me. Move your daughter, my mother said. There is a regional center there. There are more prospects than we have in the town, and even if something happens, your husband will not be able to share the hereditary apartment. And if you turn the inheritance into money, then the purchased property will be considered joint property. I brushed off my mother's if anything. It seemed that my marriage was strong. Yes, it was, but I thought about the prospects in the regional center and we moved. They made a good repair out of my savings. The apartment was 2-room, it was spacious and bright. Gradually, our life in a new place got better. We found a job, my son went to kindergarten. He took all the money after the sale of my apartment. He didn't buy an apartment, but took all the money and kicked it out. The mother-in-law sobbed sitting in our kitchen. He threw me out with a suitcase, said he didn't need an old cow. This was the expected outcome. With the money from the sale of her mother-in-law's apartment, her young husband rented a house. The rest just began to live together with his mother-in-law, and when he turned up a better option in the form of a young girl with her own square meters, he mercilessly put her husband's mother out of his life with things. Honey, but we have a place for my mom to live, my husband told me. We have no moral right to leave her on the street. Well, no, I replied. She once had every right to expel you, me, her own grandson from her apartment, but we warned her, and now she has no moral right to hang her problems on us. Well done, mother-in-law. Squandered property, squandered her once reliable family, and showed up in the family of her son, whom she once put out on the street without pity. But I still remember how my child ate pasta with sugar for weeks, and I spent nights doing term papers and theses to order. Son, you have to help me. I'm out of work. What will I rent a house for? The mother-in-law turned to her husband. You must leave this heartless and vicious woman who is kicking your mother out of the house. If you don't help my mom, I will divorce you, my husband told me with a threat in his voice. Fine, I say. The exit is there. Don't forget to leave the keys. No, it's better not. I'll just change the locks. We got divorced. Here is the case that my mother wisely warned me about. By the way, your ex-mother-in-law got together with her ex-husband, my mother told me on the phone a week ago. Here's a tricky one. It will fit in one place without so. I moved into his apartment again, and yesterday my ex-husband appeared on the threshold. Mom and stepfather asked me to move out. They want to live alone, said the former. Will you take me back? I let him spend the night, but the son was glad to see his father, but I don't know how to go on. 6 months after the divorce has passed, should I take it back or not? Maybe he has become wiser, and if not, suddenly his mother will fall in love again and she will need a son.